All right, so today I want to talk to you about something that I consider bad news. For you, if you are an owner-operator, you're a freight broker, or if you're a small business person, this to me is bad news. And the reason why I say it is bad news, the reason is because it will very likely put another hurdle, another obstacle in front of you as a small business person that you will very likely have to negotiate. And if you're like me, if you're a small business person like me, you already feel like there are enough hurdles, there are enough obstacles, there are enough hands in our pockets taking money out of the business. So we don't need any more oversight. We don't need any more authority telling us how to operate our business and then taking money from that business, right? I'm sure you feel that way if you are a small business person. Now, there's something called the Inflation Reduction Act. We've been hearing a lot about it in the news. President Biden, I think, signed it into law last week. And there are some good things about the Inflation Reduction Act. I think the main part of it is about reducing inflation. And they have some different ways that they want to go about that, right? One of those is requiring a 15% minimum corporate tax, making corporations pay a minimum of 15% in taxes, right? The other thing that they're going to do is prescription drugs, which I think is a very good thing, making prescription drugs more affordable for people who need those drugs to survive, making sure that they're not paying outlandish prices to get the drugs they need to live. So that's a good thing in my opinion. And there are some more things that are within that Inflation Reduction Act that's designed to help reduce inflation. So I'm all for that. That's a good thing. But now there's also a part within the Inflation Reduction Act that people are not talking about a lot, but it's something in there that says that they're going to hire about 87,000 new IRS agents. Isn't that something? Isn't that interesting? Anytime people start talking about hiring IRS agents, the first thing that pops to my mind is audits, right? Because we know that is what we are most fearful of, most of us as business owners, is being audited, right? And an audit basically says that, oh, if you had made some type of mistake on your taxes, then there's some type of team, IRS team, they overlook those taxes and oh, you made a mistake, and then they come back and do an audit and you could perhaps have to pay a whole lot of money back, right? So we are very, very mindful of audits as small business people, right? And when you're talking about hiring 87,000 new IRS agents, and you're saying that's for the oversight maybe of, making sure people pay the proper taxes, that usually doesn't always stop with the rich. That is a trickle-down effect most times. And you and I, as small business people who are not making millions and millions of dollars, sometimes get caught up in those tax provisions that come out, right? Sometimes they say, okay, we're going to just target the rich, but it ends up trickling down. And it's not just targeting the rich, because when people or governments start taking money from a particular people or certain people, then they say, okay, well, we can take a little bit more from the rest of you guys too, right? And when you're talking about hiring that many different agents, to me, it doesn't just say it's going to stop with the rich. It's very possible that you and I are going to get caught up in that too. I think that is terrible news for you and I as freight brokers, as owner-operators, as small business people, because if it's a chance that you are going to be audited at a higher rate than you're already audited at, then that's a problem. We can look at it right now and just take a look at it. Just take these 87,000 off the books. Let's just look at now who gets audited. The vast majority of people that get audited, you would think, are rich people, right? But if you take a look at people who are making over $500,000 and people who are not making $500,000, these people are making less than $25,000, they are audited almost at the same rate. Not very much difference at all. So if there is an influx of agents, who do you think they are going to be auditing? Very likely, it's going to be auditing the poor. It's going to be auditing people that are not financially rich, that don't have a whole lot of money. And the rich, the people that these laws are intended to target, they'll always find a way to skirt the law. They'll always find loopholes to get around these taxes. Why? Because they always do. They have teams, people that are trained to seek out the loophole, people that are trained to find ways so that the rich don't have to pay certain taxes. Now, what should you do when you're not rich, when you don't have access to these teams, these people who are trained to do this? Well, I think it's about starting out small and growing yourself big. I think one of the persons that you need to invest in as quickly as possible, as soon as possible, is a CPA, a certified public accountant, someone who's trained, who understands tax law, someone who can start to do your taxes and not only do your taxes, but set up a tax plan for you. If you don't have a plan to minimize your taxes, then something is wrong with you as a business owner. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I certainly hope this information has been helpful. The bad news is that these 87,000 IRS agents will be hired over a 10-year period of time, I think it is. And they will be hired to so-called check on the rich, to make sure the rich are doing what they're supposed to do. But it's very likely it could trickle down to you. So just be mindful of that and start to put your ducks in order so you aren't left out to dry. If you're interested in learning more about the freight broker business, I'll leave a free link in the description. It's my 5-video series, and it takes you to the process of learning how freight moves. It'll show me talking to shippers, talking to carriers to give you a better understanding of how the business works. And then if you're interested in learning more about how we find shippers as freight brokers, find the people that we're going to work with, I'll leave a free video right here. So until the next time, I wish you the very best in your life and business. See you at the very top, because the bottom is much too crowded.